What's up, friend? Welcome back to my channel. Do you consider yourself to be an emotionally intelligent person? What does that even mean? Today we're talking about the pillars that make up emotional intelligence, how to raise your EQ, and why it's necessary to hone these skills to support your goals, your relationships, and your manifestations. Your talent and your skill are going to take you very far, but these are not the only components of success. Successful people are really good at creating healthy, genuine relationships and regulating their own emotions. Typically, won't speak for everybody. Obviously, there are exceptions. The concept of emotional intelligence was actually brought forward by a psychologist named David Goleman. He is the OG, so all credit to him. I'm just breaking down this complex topic so that it's easy to understand, and I also want to relate it back to your manifestations in a more specific way. So let's set the vibe. I'm feeling incense today. This is vanilla incense. I'm gonna take my little boot and light her up. And we are lit and already smelling amazing. So go ahead, light your candle, bring your incense, get your drink, get comfortable, set the vibe. And if you are not already subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you would. I have a whole playlist on manifestation, mindset, shadow work, so on and so forth. So go check that out if you haven't already, and subscribe if you're not. And let's get into it. David Goleman's concept of emotional intelligence is broken up into 5 pillars. So let's dive into each of those to see how we can use them to enhance our emotional intelligence and take our manifestations to the next level. The first pillar is empathy. Empathy is such a huge part of emotional intelligence because your ability to build and maintain healthy, strong relationships is dependent on your ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes. When you can truly understand and take in someone else's experiences, you can understand them better and your relationship is gonna improve. I'm gonna give you a real life example of this that I personally experienced. Someone close to me was trying to give me advice. Their intention was to help me out, but their delivery just ended up being super offensive. And from their perspective, they were just trying to be honest and trying to support me. And from my perspective, they were attacking me and being super judgmental. In this situation, and in many situations you're gonna encounter in your relationships, there's no hard truth or fact to defer to. It's really just two people's perspectives working against each other. No one is objectively right or wrong, and in situations like this, empathy is especially important in resolving them. This person has to understand how it would feel to be in my position and to feel attacked, and I have to understand their intention. The problem happens when you're unable to be empathetic and put yourself in someone's position, and instead you go on the defensive. You got offended by what I said, that wasn't my intention, therefore you don't understand me and I don't want to understand you. And you reach a stalemate and nothing gets resolved. The progress happens when I'm able to say, look, your words were hurtful, but I understand that your intention was to be helpful. And when they say, my intention was to be helpful, my heart was in the right place, but my delivery was not good and I hurt you in the process. Acknowledge that opposing perspective and really try to put yourself in that place of how would I feel if I were them? That's where you're gonna be able to find a resolution to a lot of the conflicts in your relationships. I think empathy is also really helpful in dealing with your haters, and I'll keep this short because there's a lot to get to in this video. But yes, I could talk about this all day if I wanted to. Believe that. Anyway, think of it this way. When you have someone in your life who doesn't support or understand your goals or manifestations, it's so much easier to not take that personally when you start to empathize. This isn't always the case, but I can speak from experience because this was a huge part of my own personal shadow work. People not being supportive of other people's journeys towards success is indicative of an insecurity about their own journey. It's indicative of their own discomfort within themselves. Y'all, everything is a projection. When in doubt, it's a projection. People see you going after what you want and not being afraid to be seen trying, and it reminds them that they are afraid to be seen trying, and they don't like that. The more you put yourself in their shoes and understand that it's not about you, it's not personal, the less it's gonna affect your journey, and the less offended you're gonna be by people's lack of support. So empathy is a huge part of emotional intelligence. It's key in building strong and healthy relationships, resolving conflict, and not taking other people's shit so personally. Don't let the bastards get you down. The second pillar is social skills. Obviously, social skills are important in improving your relationship with other people, duh. I feel like that's an obvious one, so I want to focus more on the confidence element of this because I feel like that more directly relates to your manifestation journey. When you improve your social skills, showing interest in other people, asking open-ended questions, listening, like really actively listening, maintaining eye contact, it improves your confidence. None of us are completely alone in this lifetime, okay? No man is an island entirely upon himself. think that's what the saying was. I was an English major, y'all. We read that. Our energy comes out of us and bounces off of everyone around us, and that energy is the exact energy we're gonna get back. When we're putting out the energy that we're confident in ourselves and that we can stand in the truth of who we are, the people around us see that and we get that energy back. So let's say you're trying to manifest a promotion or a new job or whatever, and you walk into your performance review or your interview, and you can confidently say, this is what I do, this is what I've done, this is what I'm capable of, how can I help? I'm aligned with this job, I'm aligned with this new position, like what's good? It shows that you're ready, that you're confident, that you believe in yourself, and believing in yourself is how you get other people to believe in you too. So social anxiety is real. Listen, I feel it. I clam up sometimes, okay? But it is key in developing your emotional intelligence and advancing the plot. And the social skills pillar specifically is a really good example of how you can use emotional intelligence to further your manifestation. Social skills are how you get what you want. It only takes one person. The third pillar is self-awareness, and this is essentially knowing yourself. Knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses, knowing your shadow. Major air quotes around weaknesses. That's a whole nother video. This is huge though, y'all. Like, you need to be willing to be real with yourself and come to terms with the things that have been holding you back. You gotta be honest with yourself about what your triggers are and what your strengths are to push you forward. And here's something I wanna be abundantly clear about. Your weaknesses, your shadow, whatever, these things should not be a source of shame or anything that holds you back or prevents you from doing what you want to do. Your awareness of them should simply help you get back on track when you're feeling really lost in the sauce. Let's get into that. When you're feeling, for example, imposter syndrome, and you feel like, I'm not really capable of doing this stuff, eventually everyone's gonna find out that I'm a big fraud, I don't deserve this, whatever's going through your mind, acknowledge that, point it out. And instead of not having that understanding of where your shadow fits into your story and just letting it consume you and keep you from moving forward, acknowledge it. Give a little hug. Tell it it's gonna be okay. And recenter. And the more you practice using your self-awareness to your advantage, the easier it gets. Speak positively out loud to yourself, affirm yourself in the mirror, write in your journal, do whatever you gotta do, but your shadow is a part of who you are. And you can overcome those things that are holding you back and those things that are triggering you without just ignoring them. Ignoring this stuff never freaking works. These things always work themselves into your journey and what you're trying to do and who you are. So just accept that and let's keep it moving. Speaking of self-awareness, let's talk about self-regulation, the next pillar. This is the ability to understand your emotions, see where they're coming from, and think before acting on them. This one's big. This also means acknowledging your negative thoughts and transmuting them in a way that is useful to you. Self-regulation is imperative to emotional intelligence and to your manifestations because it turns destructive behavior into productive behavior. It builds resilience and it keeps you from wilding out on other people and on yourself. And this does not mean feeling negative emotions and then pushing them into the deepest caverns of your soul, never to be seen again. Okay, we're not about suppression around here. You already know that. It's simply about feeling something, noticing it, taking a minute to sit in it and understand it, and then acting. The instinct may be to pop the hell off. But let me tell you why that's not the vibe. Listen, I used to be completely dysregulated emotionally and I would blame it on being a Scorpio, but honestly, I feel like I just needed therapy or a YouTube channel like this. So I told y'all that I manifested my husband, but in the beginning, I was a little unhinged. The Scorpio jumped out. I was not following my own advice in my how to manifest a specific person video at all. I would text him, not get a text back for a few hours and want to pop off. I was like, oh, you don't want to text me back? Then you don't deserve me. Y'all, I would spiral. I was like, is my manifestation actually gonna happen? And I was confusing my anxiety for my intuition, and I thought that my anxiety being like, leave, 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 was my intuition. Oh my God. I thought my intuition was being like, girl, he does not like your ass, clearly. But eventually he would get back to me and be like, hey, sorry, I was at my uncle's house building like an IKEA wardrobe. It took us 4 hours, but yeah, how are you? And I would feel freaking stupid. Emotional intelligence means keeping a cool head. Accept your emotions because they're real and they're valid, and frustration, especially when it comes to something that you care a lot about, that's normal, that happens. But know that there is always a choice on how you act. Sometimes you just gotta sit in that bad feeling for a minute to build that resilience. Sometimes you gotta practice your actions in the mirror like Issa on Insecure. Maybe do a little rap before sharing them with others or letting them impact your situation. Make your negative emotions work for you, not against you. Don't pop off. Also, it's not your sign that's making you do that. The last pillar of emotional intelligence, Motivation. The ability to get yourself to make the moves you gotta make. And this starts with setting goals for yourself. What are you manifesting? What are the steps that it's gonna take to get you there? Plan that out so you actually have a roadmap of where you're going and you're not left just standing there with duct tape and a dream, as Brittany Hennessy would say. And once you have your game plan and you have all your ducks in a row, keep up that momentum. If you've seen my other videos, especially the one that I did on procrastination, you know that I don't really see motivation as a very effective long-term crutch. Motivation is not always gonna be sustainable just on its own. Like, you ever feel really motivated about something for like 2 days and then the next day you wake up and you don't wanna do it and then it just falls to the wayside and you never do it again? No, that's just me. That's not just me. We all do that. Motivation's not enough. You have to be disciplined too, and you have to feel the need to advance the plot even when you don't feel like it. You have to be willing to make time for the things that are important to you and make time for honing your craft or practicing or putting in the work, whatever that means to you. I find that habit stacking, so like implementing little to-dos into my daily routine that I'm doing anyway, is really helpful. Same with like making lists with things that you can cross off, or time blocking, so like setting a timer for 30 minutes and using that 30 minutes to create content or write a new song or work on some marketing assets for your small business, whatever. Tightening up your resume. You just have to find little things to insert that discipline so that you're not just relying on feeling like doing something or feeling motivated, because feeling motivated, it doesn't last forever, it's not constant, and especially for these big dreams and big goals that you have to be consistently putting in the work to get there. And along with this, most importantly, more than anything, you have to celebrate your wins, even if it is a tiny win in the grand scheme of things that isn't really that meaningful. Just celebrate, okay? Live it up. Congratulate yourself, treat yourself, because when you do that, it helps you keep up the momentum even more. When you're motivated and you have your mind on your goals and nothing can stop you, it makes you more prepared to tackle challenges. And it also helps you nurture your relationships with other people and help them accomplish their goals too. And all of this opens the door for you to understand yourself a lot better and understand what you're truly capable of, because it's a lot more than you might think. So those are the 5 pillars of emotional intelligence. That is how each one relates to your manifestations, the law of attraction, putting out good energy, getting good energy back, and maintaining your relationships. I hope that you found this helpful. Let me know in the comments how you are working these pillars into your manifestations, or if you have any questions. Y'all know I'm here, and I'll see you in my video next weekend. Happy manifesting. Good luck out there.